This method, that is revenue method, was suggested by Marshall, the economist who also gave the law of demand, law of supply, law of diminishing returns, law of diminishing marginal utility. Here we study the elasticity of demand in relation to the change in revenue or expenditure with change in the price of the commodity. This method is very, very restrictive. Through this method, we can only know whether the elasticity of demand is equal to 1, greater than 1, or less than 1. The first situation, elasticity is 1. When with rise or fall in the price of the commodity, there is no impact on the total revenue or expenditure. Elasticity of demand is said to be equal to 1. Here the change in price is neutralized by the change in demand, and the overall effect on the revenue is 0. That is, we can say change in price and demand are proportionate. Second case, when elasticity of demand is more than 1, when fall in the price of the commodity leads to rise in the total expenditure or revenue, while rise in price reduces this total expenditure, elasticity of demand is more than 1. And this happens because change in quantity demanded is proportionately more than the change in price. The third case, elasticity of demand being less than 1, when fall in price reduces the total revenue and rise in price increases this total, elasticity of demand will be less than 1. The three cases have been illustrated with the help of schedules, which have been shown in table number 5.2. We find that in all the three cases, price falls from 5 to 4. In the first case, the proportionate change in demand is same as the proportionate change in price. So total revenue remains same at 500. So we have this case of unit elastic demand. Second case, with fall in the price of the commodity, the quantity demanded rises by a greater amount, by a greater percentage, or in greater proportion. That is why the total expenditure or revenue rises with fall in the price. So this is a case of more than unit elastic demand. Here price and total revenue move in opposite direction. The third case, the quantity demanded rises by a smaller percentage or proportion for a given fall in the price. As a result, the total revenue falls. It is a case of less than unit elastic demand. So in this case, price and total revenue move in same direction. The relationship between change in price and total revenue, and hence elasticity of demand, has been summarized in tabular form through table number 5.3. It indicates that with fall in price, if total revenue remains constant, elasticity is equal to 1. If total revenue or outlay falls, elasticity of demand is less than 1. If total outlay or expenditure rises, elasticity of demand will be greater than 1. In case of rise in price, when total revenue remains constant, elasticity of demand is equal to 1. If total expenditure, outlay or revenue rises, elasticity of demand will be less than 1. And when total expenditure, outlay or revenue falls, elasticity of demand will be greater than 1. We can understand this relationship mathematically also. Student can see that total revenue is given by P into Q. That is price multiplied by quantity. Now we take derivative by differentiating both the sides with respect to price, because in the case of elasticity of demand, we change the price of the commodity. So derivative of total revenue with respect to price will be obtained by product rule, and that you remember, first function into derivative of second function plus second function into derivative of first function. So the result is Q into 1 plus P into dQ by dP. We can take Q outside the bracket. Within the bracket, we find 1 plus P upon Q into dQ by dP. And this P upon Q dQ by dP is nothing but it is the formula for elasticity of demand. We have already studied that delta Q upon delta P multiplied by P upon Q is the elasticity of demand. Now, since for normal goods, this relationship is negative or inverse, and for total outlay method also, we consider only normal goods. So we will have a negative sign in the bracket. Now, suppose you put EP is equal to 1, then the derivative will be 0. So that means when there is no change in total revenue, elasticity of demand is equal to 1 means total revenue remains unchanged or constant. And suppose elasticity of demand is less than 1, then the right hand side will be positive. That is, change in total revenue and change in price are in the same direction. And similarly, when elasticity of demand is more than 1, right hand side will become negative. That means change in total revenue and the price will be in opposite direction. The information explained through table 5.3 has been presented in the form of figure 5.3, that shows the relationship between total revenue and elasticity of demand. So when total revenue and price both move in the same direction, elasticity of demand will be less than 1. When there is no change in total revenue with change in price, elasticity of demand will be equal to 1. And in the third segment or part of this figure, when total revenue and price move in opposite directions, elasticity of demand will be greater than 1. Whatever we have discussed through tables and mathematically is also clear from figures 5.4, 5.5 and 5.6. In figure 5.4, what we find here, the proportionate change in price is less, but the proportionate change in quantity demanded is more. So increase in total revenue or expenditure because of increase in quantity shown by the shaded area is more than the decrease in total expenditure because of decrease in the price. So overall, there is rise in total revenue or expenditure. This is a case of elastic demand. In the second case shown in figure 5.5, increase in quantity is by a smaller percentage or proportion than decrease in the price. So increase in total revenue or expenditure due to rise in the quantity is less in comparison to decrease in total expenditure due to fall in the price. So we find that in net terms, there is fall in total revenue or expenditure due to fall in the price of the commodity. So this is a case of inelastic demand. In the third figure, 5.6, proportionate change in quantity and prices are same. So increase in total revenue or expenditure due to rise in the quantity demanded is same as decrease in total expenditure due to fall in the price of the commodity. So in net terms, the total expenditure or revenue remains unaffected. This is a case of unit elastic demand. We can also visualize from these figures that when elasticity of demand is more than 1, the demand curve is flatter as shown in figure 5.4. While when elasticity of demand is less, the demand curve is steeper. This point method is used to estimate the value of elasticity of demand at a particular point on the demand curve. This would imply that elasticity of demand will be different at different points, even on the same demand curve. And in order to derive this method, we can start with the percentage formula of elasticity of demand, which gives the formula delta Q upon delta P multiplied by P upon Q. You can look at the figure 5.7. In this figure, we find that Suppose the price is reduced from OP to OP1, as a result of which the quantity demanded increases from OQ to OQ1. In figure 5.7, we find that the two triangles SRR1 and QRD1 are similar to each other. And these are similar because of AA similarity. One angle is common at point D1, which is equal to the angle at point R1. One angle is 90 degree. So third angle at point R, which is common to both the triangles. So by AA similarity, triangle SRR1 is similar to triangle QRD1. And we know that when the two triangles are similar to each other, their sides will be in the same ratio. That is, SR1 upon SR will be multiplied by QR upon QO. We can revise. Elasticity of demand is equal to delta Q upon delta P multiplied by P upon Q. Delta Q is SR1. Delta P is SR. Price is QR. And quantity is QO or OQ. Now, since the two triangles SRR1 and QRD1 are similar to each other by AA or AAA similarity, so SR1 divided by SR will be equal to QD1 divided by QR, because similar triangles have sides in the same ratio. So we find that elasticity will be QD1 upon QR multiplied by QR divided by QO. Now, this can be simplified as QD1 divided by QO. Now, in the same figure, we also find that triangle PDR is similar to triangle QRD1, again by a similarity. So you can look at this figure 5.7, you will find triangle PDR is similar to triangle QRD1. One angle is 90 degree, others are corresponding angles. So these two triangles will have sides in the same ratio. So QD1 upon PR will also be equal to QR divided by PD, and this will also be equal to RD1 divided by RD. And this is precisely the result that we have written here. QD1 upon QA is equal to QD1 upon PR, which is equal to RD1 divided by DR. RD1 is the lower segment and DR is the upper segment. So we can say elasticity of demand by point method is given by lower portion of the demand curve divided by the upper portion. From figure 5.8, we can say that there are different values of elasticities of demand on the same linear demand curve. This seems to be in conflict with what you have studied in the school, that when the demand curve is flatter one, it is elastic. When it is steeper one, it is inelastic. So for different values of elasticities, we have different demand curves. But here we say that for the same linear demand curve, elasticity of demand will be different at different points on the same demand curve. And we can resolve this conflict by first understanding the fact that whenever we say anything in economics, we have to take into consideration the basic assumption that we make. And the basic assumption is other things do not change. And here the other thing is price quantity ratio. So when price quantity ratio is same, then only flatter demand curve will be more elastic than the steeper one. So for this demand curve DD1, elasticity of demand at point A, that is the midpoint of the demand curve, will be equal to 1. And when we want to estimate the elasticity at a point which is lower than this midpoint, elasticity of demand will be less than 1. And when you estimate the elasticity of demand at point which is above midpoint, lower segment will become greater than the upper segment, so elasticity of demand will be more than 1. At extreme point D1, where the demand curve is meeting x-axis, elasticity of demand will be 0 because lower segment is 0. And at other extreme point D, where the demand curve is meeting y-axis, elasticity of demand will be infinity because the upper segment is 0 and anything divided by 0 is equal to infinity. There is one more interesting way in which I will explain to you as to how elasticity of demand on the same demand curve varies from 0, which is the lowest value, to infinity, that is the highest value. And for this purpose, we will have to rearrange the formula of elasticity of demand. The elasticity of demand is given by delta Q upon delta P multiplied by P upon Q. Now here P is price, Q is quantity. So P upon Q is price quantity ratio. The other part of the elasticity of demand is delta Q upon delta P. That is change in quantity divided by change in price, or derivative of quantity with respect to price. We should know that slope of the demand curve DD1 is given by delta P upon delta Q. P is on the vertical axis and Q is on the horizontal axis. So delta P upon delta Q is the slope of the demand curve. So delta Q upon delta P would be reciprocal of the slope of demand curve. So we can say elasticity of demand is given by 1 upon slope multiplied by P upon Q, that is price quantity ratio. Students, you can easily understand that the slope of linear demand curve is same at every point, and it is given by tangent theta or change in y to the change in x. So the first part of the elasticity of demand, that is 1 upon slope, is same at every point on the linear demand curve DD1. But as far as the other part is concerned, price quantity ratio, this price quantity ratio is different at different points. So if you look at this figure again, 5.8, we will find that price quantity ratio at point D is infinity because quantity is 0. And with given finite slope of this linear demand curve, elasticity of demand will be equal to infinity because elasticity is given by 1 upon slope multiplied by price quantity ratio. Since price quantity ratio is infinity at point D, so slope of this demand curve at point D is also infinity. When we move down along this curve, we find that price keeps on declining and the quantity keeps on increasing. P is in the numerator, Q is in the denominator. So when P falls, Q rises. That would imply price quantity ratio will keep on declining. So this means that elasticity of demand that was infinity at point D will keep on declining as we go down along this linear demand curve DD1. When we reach at point D1, price quantity ratio will be equal to 0 because price is 0, which is in the numerator. So this way we can easily understand that elasticity of demand is going to be maximum infinity at the point where linear demand curve is meeting y-axis, and it keeps on declining as we move down along the same demand curve, and it approaches 0 value when the linear demand curve meets x-axis. Now the question arises, suppose we do not have a linear demand curve, rather we are having non-linear demand curve. If you want to estimate the elasticity of demand by point method on a non-linear demand curve, then wherever we want to estimate the elasticity of demand, we will have to draw a tangent. If we are having two different points where elasticity of demand is to be estimated, then two separate tangents will have to be drawn. Thereafter, the process of estimation of point elasticity of demand will be the same, that is lower segment of the demand curve divided by the upper segment. Now let us consider example where we want to compute the value of elasticity for Q is equal to 25 minus 2P, for P is equal to 5, 0, and for Q is equal to 0. So here dQ by dP will be minus 2. So elasticity of demand will be given by dq by dp multiplied by p upon q. P is given to us as 5. When P is 5, the value of Q will be 15. So we put all these values in the formula and the elasticity of demand will be minus 2 upon 3. We can also find out the elasticity of demand for P is equal to 0. In such case, Q will be 25 and elasticity of demand will be 0. So it is minus 2 multiplied by 0, which is the value of P, divided by 25, which is the value of Q. Similarly, when Q is equal to 0, we can find out the elasticity. dq by dp is minus 2. For Q, we are substituting 0. And when Q is 0, P will be 12.5. So the answer is infinity, because if 0 is in the denominator, the elasticity of demand will be equal to infinity. Now let us consider some special demand curves. We call these demand curves as special demand curve because for these demand curves, elasticity of demand is same at every point. We have just studied that using point method, that is most accurate and scientific method, elasticity of demand is found to be different at different points on the same demand curve. But for some demand curves, elasticity of demand even by using the point method will be same at every point. And these demand curves have been shown in figure 5.10. In the first part A, demand curve is horizontal. It is a case of perfectly elastic demand curve. Here elasticity of demand is infinity at every point. So even when you apply the point method, the formula for which is lower segment divided by upper segment. In this figure, that is part A, lower segment is infinity because this demand curve is meeting x-axis at infinity. So infinity divided by any finite amount is going to be infinity. So even when we apply point method, then the elasticity of demand for figure 5.10a will be infinity at every point. Now consider 5.10b. This demand curve is linear but vertical. It is a case of perfectly inelastic demand curve. And for this demand curve, elasticity of demand is 0 at every point. That means demand is not at all responsive to the change in price. When we apply the point method, for which the formula is lower segment divided by upper segment, lower segment is a finite amount, but upper segment is infinity. So elasticity of demand is infinity because anything divided by infinity is 0. So elasticity of demand for 5.10a is infinity throughout, while for figure 5.10b, the elasticity of demand is 0 at every point, even when we apply point method. Now we have the third case, 5.10c. This demand curve is a specific and special demand curve with elasticity of demand equal to 1 at every point. And this type of demand curve is also called as rectangular hyperbola. Here elasticity of demand is equal to 1 at every point. That means wherever we draw the tangent to the demand curve, lower and upper segment will be equal to each other. So for this demand curve, elasticity of demand will be unitary or 1. And there is one more thing special about this demand curve, because this is a rectangular hyperbola, and by rectangular hyperbola we mean that when we draw perpendiculars from different points on this demand curve on x and y axis, then the rectangles so formed will be equal in area. And that is the precise meaning of the term rectangular hyperbola, for which the equation is xy is equal to constant. And here on x and y axis we are having demand and price respectively. So for this demand curve, the product price and demand will be constant. And when we multiply price and demand, what we get is called as total outlay or total expenditure. So At every point on this demand curve, total outlay or expenditure is the same. And we also know by total outlay method, when the expenditure is same with changes in the price, then by total outlay method also the elasticity of demand is equal to 1. So 5.10c shows unit elastic demand curve. Now we have two more special demand curves, 5.10d and 5.10e. In both the cases, we have shown individual and market demand curve. Generally, market demand curve is more elastic than the individual demand curve, because market demand curve is obtained by horizontal summation of individual demand curves. So individual demand curve may be inelastic. That means individually consumers may not be much concerned about the variations in the price, but the total market demand is responsive to the changes in the price of the commodity. But sometimes we have the reverse situation. That is, market demand curve is inelastic, whereas individual demand curve is elastic. That means different individuals are concerned about the fact whether the price is less or more. But for the whole market, the seller is able to sell product even at very high price without much loss. So that means for market, the demand curve is inelastic. That is, the whole market is not very much concerned about rises in the prices of the commodity. That means there will not be much change in the demand even when the price shoots up.